One of the huge benefits of a Google Calendar is the task list that allows you to make to-do lists and keep them in your calendar or in your email. And I'm going to show you first how to access the task list from your calendar, and then we'll switch over to email and I'll show you how to do it from there. By default, over here on the left hand side, you have up at the top under My Calendars where it says Tasks. And any of these, if they aren't highlighted in a color, if they're grayed out, it means they're there, they're just not visible. So for example, if you have multiple calendars like I do, and you don't want every single one of them turned on all the time, so one click on and one click off. So I'm going to click Tasks and turn it on. I know that tasks are now on because it's yellow and that's the color I've assigned to it. If you want it to be a different color, you can come down here and you can change what color you would like that to display as. I'm going to leave mine as yellow. And where do they show up? Looking over here to the left, or I'm sorry, looking over here to the right, you are going to see a task list. Adding a list to your task is as easy as just clicking in the box and starting to type. When you do that, it will appear in your task list, and you can just keep making them. You can check them off by clicking the box next to them. When you come down here to Actions, you can clear the completed tasks. Now, that will move them into a completed task list. So I'm going to clear those. You can also delete them. I clear them just so I can see what I've done. You can view your completed tasks by clicking there, and you'll see all of the tasks that I've completed. Now, if, for example, there's reasons that you need to keep your completed tasks, like, for example, if you have to do work orders or different things like that where you want to see what it is you've been doing, I suggest that you just clear your completed tasks instead of deleting them. And I'm going to go back to view my order. You can also, back down here at Actions, you could print your task list if you wanted to. I don't think that that's necessarily something that you would have to do. You can edit the details. You can move items up and down. So you can indent and unindent. So for example, over here, if I wanted to make a main So I have my main category here. Then first thing, I can come down to Actions and hit Indent, and that would move it underneath there. You can also hit Tab, and it will take it to the indent. And to unindent, you hit Shift and Tab, and that'll line it all back up for you there. Moving up and moving down, but you could also, it's probably just easier to come over here and grab it, and you can reorder them. Now, a to-do list on its own is really nice to have. However, most of the time, if you have something to do, you have a deadline that it has to be completed by. So to add a deadline or a date that it's due, just come over here and you'll click this, click the little arrow, and you can assign a due date to it. So a mini calendar will pop up. This has to be done by the 18th. And then I will just go back to list. So this again, that has to be done by the 18th, and go back to list. Now, when I look at my calendar in month view, you will see the yellow, which denotes my task list, and the check boxes. That means that by the 18th, I have to do those two tasks. I can check them off from here, or I can check them off over here. The other way that you can get a task onto a due date is in either the day or the week view. And if I click on up here at the top when I'm in the week or the day view, it will give me the option to add either an event or a task. And if I add a task and select Create Task, it will add that task up here at the top, and it will add it over to the side. Now it's only going to show the task over at the side for whichever list is open. So if I have my grad school task open and I add the task, then it will add there. If I switch to Angie's list, notice it's not there, but I can create another task by selecting task. And then create task, and it will add it over to my list on the side. When I come down here to the bottom, this is where you can modify your lists. I have two different lists. I have Angie's list, which are my work list, and I have a grad school list. And these are all the assignments that I have to do for grad school. I cannot have them showing simultaneously, but I can flip between both of the lists. So you could have a to-do list for home and a to-do list for school. You can make more lists. I could delete a list, rename a list, or refresh a list. And that's where you would edit those over here. This plus will add a task, but you can also add a task just by clicking anywhere on your list. And I use this button up here to minimize it and maximize it. Now, I said that I would show you how you can use your tasks in your email as well. And I'm going to come back here to Inbox, Mail, and Tasks. And that's going to pop up my task list in the bottom of my email. A lot of the times I just have this open and it stays there all the time. Again, you can flip back. These down here are exactly the same in your email as it is in your Google Calendar. And you can make it bigger by clicking that pop-up arrow, and then you can pop it back in. If you are in an email and you want to add a task from there, like for example, here's an email that someone had for me about adding grants. You can come up here to More and select Add to Tasks. So that's going to name it Educational Grants, and it'll have a related email. So let me say that I close that. Let me say that I archive that. It's not even in my inbox anymore. So I would come here to my task list and click on the related email, and it would automatically pull up that email. So instead of keeping, everything you have to do in your inbox, you can keep that in your task list and then click on the related email, and it will automatically pull that back up for you. Now, if you are like me and you have a smartphone, it's also extremely helpful to be able to access your task list from your phone, because a lot of the times when you're moving around, that's where you're going to be checking things off, etc., etc. Let me show you two different ones, and I'm looking here at iTunes. If you have an iPhone, this Go Tasks app is free, and it works really nicely on your iPhone. I use this one personally, and I've really enjoyed it. It syncs it with everything that you have in your tasks in your Gmail account, and you can mark things off from your phone really easily. If you have an Android phone, I found this Tasks free. I've never used it, so I don't know exactly how nicely it works, but it looks like it's pretty easy to use as well. So those are just two examples if you want to install an app on your phone that will allow you to check off and add tasks as you're working from your phone.